Hello everyone, welcome to this session on playing with Git and GitHub, working with teams. If you have played pretty much with the basics of Git and want to contribute to open source or work in teams, so you are at the right place. So this session is being organized by Developer Student Club Kite. We are a community of developers who loves to learn, share and code together. You can find more about us on dckite.com. A quick intro of myself. My name is Ritik Srivastav. I am a core team member at DSC Kite and a full stack developer. You can find me over the web with Ritikasa25. So let's start the session with today's agenda. So today we will discuss about how Git works in organizations and how repositories are prepared in organizations. We will discuss forking and cloning. We will discuss various types of remote, that is local, origin and upstream. We will discuss about pull requests and merge conflicts. We will discuss about the ideal GitHub workflow. So let's start. So for the sake of convenience, we have already created a organization repository for our dummy project. So this repository is hosted on our DSC Kite organizations and its name is Git demo. So almost all the organizations have their repositories and they are framed in this pattern only. So these are some common files that are present across all major working open source repositories, and after that there are source code of the project. So here you will find a .gitignore file. It is used to ignore your files that you do not want to make public. Next there is a contributing file. So this file contains all the information about how you can contribute to the repository. So every organization set up their own standard format, how people can contribute to their open source. Next they have some code of conduct. All these stuffs are here. After this there is a license associated with each open source project. So here it is a MIT license which gives all type of permissions. Next a readme file is the basic documentation of the project. So here it is a template. You can use it according to your organization. And after this we have the source code of actual source code of the project. So here for the demonstration purpose we only have one file, index.html. We will be using this file only for our project. So the repository we just created, it was on the account of organization. So we can call it as upstream repository, and every developer who wants to work on this repository needs to create a fork of this repository on their local. So generally there can be two type of workflows here. First one is some organizations prefer that their developers fork this copy on their account and then create work on this copy. And some organizations, they make their repository private and allows their developers to work on the same repository. So here we are using the method in which the upstream repository is there and the developers fork this copy. So on the repository page on the organization, on the top right corner you will find a button of fork. So if you click on fork, it will ask you to select your account and it will fork the repository on the organization page to your account. So you can see we were on dsckite/git demo, and after forking it has given us this account name /git demo. So this is our forked repository. It is a working copy what we have there on the upstream. So the upstream was basically our repository that was hosted on organization. We forked this upstream repository and we got the origin. So what is origin? Origin, the fork of upstream repository. So the repository we just forked on our account, it is our origin repository. So whenever we want to contribute, we will make changes to our origin repository and then request the upstream repository maintainers to merge our changes. Next we have our origin repository. So in order to make changes locally, we have to clone this origin repository to our local so that it becomes a local repository. So the local repository is the clone of origin repository, or you can simply say it is a local copy of origin where we generally make our changes. So to clone our origin repository, we will go to our origin repository and copy this repository URL. After this, we will go to our terminal. If you are on Windows, you can use your git bash or command prompt. So here in the location you want to clone this repository, we type simply the command git clone and paste this repository URL here. We have cloned our origin repository. Let's move inside this. If we see here the remote, so since we have cloned, we will already find that origin remote is already added here. So we need to add our upstream remote also here, so that if we want to pull changes from our upstream, we can use this upstream alias. So for this we have again go back to our upstream repository. So you can click, you will see here it is showing that this repository is forked from this original repository. So we can go to this upstream repository, copy its clone URL, and again you can add a remote here. So we can do git remote, add upstream, and paste this URL here. So again, if we see remote, we have origin and upstream both added in our repository. So let's see how the cycle of working in teams works. So first we have a upstream repository which is hosted on organization's account. We clone this, we fork this, and we got the origin repository on our GitHub account. Next we clone this origin repository to our local and add, so since we are cloning, origin is already added, then we add our upstream. So how to contribute? So first we make changes to our local repository, we push these changes to our origin, we create a pull request to our upstream repository, and once it is merged and or other developers also make some changes, we pull our changes from the upstream to our local, and this cycle continues. So this is also our ideal GitHub workflow, which states always work in branches, don't commit directly to our master branch. Create a new branch, add your commits whatever you want to work on the repository, then create a pull request from your origin to your upstream repository, discuss and review your pull request with the fellow developers and maintainers of the repository, and after everything is approved, merge your branch in the again in the master branch. So now let's try to make a simple pull request to or contribute to our repository. So first thing we have to do to always create a new branch, and we have to create our new branch always from the latest upstream master. So we can pull changes to our local using get pull upstream master. So first let's open our code in the VS Code. So we can simply use code space dot to open this directory in our VS Code. So let's open the integrated terminal on VS Code by pressing Ctrl plus backticks. So here let's pull latest changes from our upstream. So we can use git pull upstream master. So it states our branch is already up to date, because after we created our local repository, no other changes were made in the upstream branch. So next we have to work in our branches. So next we will create a new branch. So creating a new branch, we can use this command git checkout -b our branch name. There are many chances that while working in teams, we can for the better collaboration between the teams, we can create a issues. So what is a issue? If you go to the repository and type go to this tab issues, so you can consider issues as a multi-purpose toolkit where you can add all the steps like to-dos, bugs, feature requests. So suppose you find a bug in your project, you can document it in the issues, and developers will work on it. So for now, suppose I want to work on a feature, let's call it a demo feature, feature 1. So I will simply create a new issue here. And this organization has make some issue templates already. So there is a bug report and there is a feature request. So suppose I want to request a feature, so I will go to this get started. Here we will type the name of our feature. So let's call it feature 1 for now. And here you can describe the feature what you want to clearly, so that the collaboration will be in flow, and they can easily understand what is the requirement. So you can always add these details, like is your feature request related to problem, so what is the solution you are going to propose, you have any alternatives, or you can add your notes, your reviews, etc. So let's create a simple feature 1 for now. So the benefit of creating this issue is that other developers know, okay, this is going to be the feature is requested, so we can work on this. And if you are already a developer, you can assign this to yourself, so that the developers got to know, okay, this person is working on this. Alright, so let's create a new branch. We'll go to our VS Code and create a new branch from our latest master. We can use git checkout -b. Let's call our branch feature 1. So our branch name should also be legitimate, or it is simple to understand and clearly defines what we are doing. So here feature 1 clearly states that we are creating a feature. So in our source code, let's this index.html is our source code. So we will write here code for our feature 1. Let it be a dummy text for now. Comment it, and we can use lorem, and that is a emit abbreviation, to add some sample or fake text. So suppose this is the whole code for our feature 1 we want to include in our code base. So let's save it. Okay, so for demonstration purpose only, we are using a sample code. In the actual projects we have multiple files. We have to change multiple files for including a single feature. So let's add and commit our changes. So we simply do git add space our file names, or simply we can write dot. Then we will commit our changes. We commit -m. We can write a commit message, a simple like -f add. We have added what? Our feature 1. So we can write add feature 1. Alright, so at this place our master branch is up to date with our upstream master, and we have a new branch feature 1, and it has all the code related to our feature 1 code. So let's push it to our origin. So suppose you have pulled the latest master, and you are currently working on this feature 1 code, but in between another developer is there who who again make the latest changes from the master, and he started contributing on feature 2. So let's visualize it. So at the same time, this was the common master, that is latest. We have not merged our changes yet. Here this is from developer 2. He came and he again check out a new branch from here. Git checkout -b. Let's call he check out a new branch feature 2, and he started working on this feature 2 code. So at the same place where we added our code for feature 1, this developer came and he started working with feature 2. So let the same stuff here. Again save our code, and this developer second developer also did the same thing. He committed his changes, and he pushed these changes to his own origin. So for now I am using my own origin, but actually this developer has used his origin account, so he pushed it to the origin repository. So we will push our changes to the same branch we are using locally, So to push to the same branch feature 2, we can simply write git push origin feature 2. Okay, so let's move forward. Let's see how how can we create a pull request now. So now this is the summary. We have updated our local branch. We have created a new branch. We have added and committed our changes. We pushed our changes to the origin branch. Now let's create a pull request. So first let's understand what is a pull request. So pull request is something like you are saying, hello, I have made my changes. Please review it, and if it is good to go, please merge it in your master branch. Alright, so it is a request of review from your fellow developers and maintainers. So you want to request a review and want to merge your changes to the main code base. So if we go to our fork, GitHub is smart enough to know that you have pushed your changes to the feature 2 branch, and you can create a pull request. So it directly gives you a pop-up here, and you can compare and pull request here directly. Otherwise you can go here here to this pull request button and create your pull request with your branch. So let's use this for now. Here we can write out the title of our pull request. So it basically makes it from our commit message. So let's do it add feature 2. Then here we have to write proper documentation what we have done in our feature 2. So let's skip it for now, and simply we create a pull request. So it has some additional features, like if you suppose you created the pull request, but later you realize that okay, I have to work some more in this feature. So you can click this convert to draft, and your pull request will not be able to be reviewed. So it is a work in progress type. Here you can request review from the developers working in your team, and also you can assign a specific developer to review your pull request. One more thing, here is a linked issues. So suppose we created there is a issue already there for bug fix or some feature. So suppose if you have a issue for feature 2, then we can link our pull request here, but we don't have issue for feature 2 right now. So suppose this feature 2 is okay. So some reviewer came here on this pull request. He checks, okay, this developer has made all these changes, and I am satisfied with the changes, so he can review this pull request. Otherwise, if he thought that there is some issue, he wants to add a comment on this specific line of code, he can use this feature, click this plus button, and write write the message he wants to discuss here. So let's call it test message right now. You can start a review. So after seeing all the files, he can finish his review and simply type the comment. He wants some changes, he can request changes. If he want to approve all the changes, he can click approve or simply comment. So suppose all the stuffs are clear and it is ready to merge, then the reviewer simply goes to this merge pull request. So there are a couple of methods of merging. So the first one is direct merge pull request. So in this case, a merge commit will also be added in addition to the previous commit. So another option, if we click on this arrow, we have a squash and merge. So squash and merge it does. So suppose there are 5 commits in this pull request, then all the 5 commits will be compiled into a single commit. So let's do squash and merge. Another one is rebase and merge. In this case, the merge commit will not be encountered, and the clean history will be obtained. So we will discuss all these steps later. So for now, let's squash and merge. So we see in the merging commit, we have reference to our feature 2 branch. So if we go back to our code and see here this commit, so this is our pull request we just merged. So here is the commit message, and it is a reference of #2. So this will directly reference to the pull request we just created. So we have created our first pull request. So after creating the pull request, we discuss and review our pull request, make some changes again. So another thing, suppose the reviewer wants to check this pull request locally. So suppose this is a big project and reviewer wants that he runs this code on the local and test if everything is working fine. So we can use these two commands, git fetch and then git checkout. So let's do it first. So first let's see what is the number of this pull request. So every pull request has some specific ID. So yeah, if we see only one pull request is there and it is number 2 because we have one issue. So issue and pull requests are counted as in a single line. So the number is 2. So we will go back to our VS Code. So here we will again go back to our master, or directly we can fetch. So what is fetch? Fetch is a command that is used to pull out that is used to get the changes from our remote repository, but it is not affecting our current code base. So if we do git fetch upstream, so every pull request has a head associated with it. So to access that, we can write pull slash the pull request number. So in our case it is 2 slash head. So in this case it will fetch the changes that is on a pull request branch. So in order to get we use colon pr2 suppose. So what is happening here, we all the changes of upstream pull request number 2 will be fetched to our local branch pr2. Let's do it for now. And after that, if we git checkout pr2, we will find the code of our pull request branches here in our local. So the reviewer can run this code and check everything is working fine. If everything is working fine, he can merge. Otherwise, he can make some commits. So now we have we have checked the pull request locally also. So what is the next step? Next, delete the branch. So this is an important thing. Once we are done with our pull request, we can delete our branch we just used to make the pull request. So on the pull request here, it is simply giving the option to delete the branch. And the deleting of branch, we can also we have to also delete the branch from our local. So let's go back to our master and let's delete the branch feature 2. We can use git branch -d flag to delete the branch. So the cycle for one pull request, that is feature 2, is complete for now. So again, if you want to move to make more contributions, so we will again we will again go to master, pull latest changes, create a branch and follow this cycle. But here is one thing. So as we discussed in the starting, so now we are currently in our feature 2 branch. Our feature 2 branch was basically that the coding that was done by the fellow developer, and our actual branch was feature 1. So if we move back to our feature 1 branch, so our feature 1 branch still has some code and we have not pushed it yet to our origin remote. So let's push our feature 1 branch to the origin. Let's git push origin feature 1. Alright, so let's move again to our repository. So again, this is our feature 1 branch. So this is our actual feature we just wanted to contribute, and in between a second developer came and make some changes to the same line where we were to the code base and created a pull request, and his pull request was reviewed and accepted. So now this is our pull request. Let's create a pull request, same method. We can write add a feature 1, write some commits and create the pull request. So you will notice something different that is unusual from our previous one. So here we will see this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. So this is the actual merge conflicts, and this is how we get the merge conflict. So what is a merge conflict? So when two developers work on the same piece of code, so Git cannot decide by itself that which code to keep and which to discard. So this encounter the merge conflict, and we have to resolve our merge conflicts manually. So we can review our code and see what is more important, or if we want to keep both the changes, we simply keep both the changes. So let's go back to our VS Code. Along with this, so we have created our feature 1 pull request, and if we want to make more changes to our feature 1, we can make more changes to our feature 1 branch on the local and push again to the origin, and those commits will be added to here only. So let's see. So since we have a merge conflict, we are on our feature 1 branch. We have pushed it to our origin. So let's pull upstream master again, because the time we check out the branch, the master has some changes master changes. After that, some changes are also added here. So let's pull upstream master. So here our changes from the master came here. So we'll see here it is VS Code UI is also showing a merge conflict. So this is because at the same line number 11, we added our feature 1 code, and we have upcoming feature 2 code that was by other developer. So in the UI, you can click current change if you want only your change to be preserved. You can click incoming change, and your changes will be discarded. This change will preserve. And if you want both the changes, you can simply click accept both changes. Along with this, if you want manually, you can remove this line add. You can remove this equal to line. You can remove the later commit ID pull request ID line, and then play with this code. So let's accept both changes for now, because both of these are important here. We save our code. We will add and commit again. Git add dot git commit hyphen message. So we are merging, so we can use the merge attribute of our, we can use merge in the commit. We have merged upstream master. Alright, so let's push it again to our origin. So if we go back to our pull request, you will see here that the changes we must just merge our pull request, and it is already added to this commit. So later we can merge this pull request. So here will find the option of linked issues. So what is linked issues? We can create your issues and link it with the pull request. So we created a pull request for our feature 1, and we can link this issue. So after merging, this issue will already be closed after merging this pull request. If we go back to our code, we will see that our code base is updated, and this pull request we have referenced our pull request here, and issue is also closed. So this is how all the stuffs goes working. If we have this issues where our issue is closed, our pull request is closed, and all the changes we made has been merged to our code. So this was the complete working, how we collaborate in teams. So let's again summarize. There we have a upstream repository, we have a origin, we have a local. So upstream repository is our origin repository on the organization space. We fork it, we get the origin repository. After cloning, we get the local. To make changes, we make changes in our local, push it to the branch on origin, create a pull request. If it is merged, then we again create a new branch on our local by pulling the latest changes from the upstream. So this was all about contributing in teams. So we have more content waiting for you in the next session of our series. So stay tuned, keep playing with Git. Thanks a lot.